Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. Today we have our college football game of the week. It's the Texas A&M Aggies taking on the University of Alabama. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And helping me to break down this great game on Saturday afternoon is a young man that played college football at his highest level and played professional football at a higher level. My man, two-time All-American out of Florida State University, 12-year vet of the Atlanta Falcons, first-round draft choice of the Atlanta Falcons in the 1981 draft, my man, Mr. Bobby Butler. So if you enjoyed the video today, please come in and share it as we're going to break down Texas A&M and the University of Alabama. So, Brother Butler, you got the Texas A&M Aggies today. So can you tell us on Saturday why the Aggies are going to upset the University of Alabama?
All right, here we go. Well, here's the key. Everything we talk about, we start talking about football, it all starts with one guy, and that's the quarterback. And so if A&M is going to compete and have a chance to win this game, they're going to need their boy, their quarterback, Mr. Mon, to have a great game. But the one thing they got to do as a unit, the offensive unit, Vincent, they got to control the clock against Alabama. It's the best formula you can have against a team that's loaded like Alabama, is to take the ball, run the football, because last week they were pretty successful at running the football, but yet again, it was against Vanderbilt, not against Alabama, right? Mon had a good game last week, but they can't turn the ball over like they did last week against Vanderbilt, because we're talking about Alabama. See, if you turn the ball over against Alabama, they will make you pay. They're going to turn your turnovers into points, hands down. So he's going to have to play well. The offense is going to have to be tight. All right? They can't have the misfires they had last week, jumping off sides, and those silly penalties. Any coach will tell you in football, if we don't have penalties, that's going to give us a better chance to win the game. If we don't turn the ball over, Vincent, that's going to give us even a higher opportunity to win the game. So you got to manage those two things. You got to manage the turnovers, and you got to manage the penalties that you have. Silly things that don't matter. But let's understand what we're going through. This team had no spring. None of these teams had spring practice. None of these teams had real summer practices. So this is almost like their preseason right now. So they're getting some of the kinks ironed out. But here's what I want to say. Even last week, let me back up. Last week, Kellen Mond throw some very good mid-range passes last week, okay? But like I say, that was against Vanderbilt, and those throwing lanes are going to be a little tighter now against Alabama. Because against Alabama, Vincent, he's not only going to have to worry about superior athletic DBs, he's going to have to worry about their heat up front in the kitchen. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to have to be mid-range passes. He's going to have to get that ball out of his hands. And he's going to have to get that ball out of his hands quick, because Alabama will not allow him to sit back in the pocket and just hold on to the ball, right? So the key, here's the key. Mon, the last 3 years against Alabama, if you look at what he did against Alabama the last 3 years, he's played pretty well, Vincent. He's played pretty well against them. So here's what I say. Kellen Mond is not going to go in this game intimidated. He's not going to get intimidated. And I believe he could lead his team to victory. All right? But the problem is they're going to have to do everything right. Kellen Mond's going to have to play. Now, this could be the biggest game of his career. This can be his real hoorah moment. Against Alabama, his last year in college, he get the win, right? But we got to see if that's going to happen. So for Texas A&M to win, I believe Kellen Mond's got to play a superior game, all right? Their defense has got to do two things. But the first thing their defense got to do, which is going to help their offense, they got to stop Najee Harris. Now, last week, he had his preseason game. He only rushed for like 98 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's just getting started. He's a monster in the room. So if the defense can get off the field and stop him from running the ball, because see, when he runs the ball, Alabama is doing what now? They're possessing the clock. The medicine that Texas A&M need to take to Alabama, Alabama is good at doing that because they play very physical, high caliber football, right? But then last week, on top of what he did, look at what Mac Jones did last week. Mac Jones had a great game last week, 18 out of 24 for 249 yards and 2 touchdowns. And boy, does he have some toys to play with. Now, Devontae Smith is the man there. But Vincent, ooh-wee, I like Mr. Waddle because he's that special kind of guy. He looked like he could be from the 5.61. He looked like he can be from the 3.05, the way he played. I really like that kid. So their defense is going to have to be real tight. But here's what I say. It all going to start with Kellen Mond and how well he plays the game. All right? So that's what I got to say about Texas A&M and Alabama.
If you like the video today, please come in and share because you're finna hear me say something about Roll Tide. Down there in Tuscaloosa, this is for Coach Jones. They don't go out and recruit, they reload. So last week, there were some key points I wanted to see. Bobby, you brought up a good point. Mac Jones was one of must-see TV. He came out, played extremely well. As you say, 18 or 24, 249 yards, but he hit his first 10 passes.
That's right.
And what I liked about him, he matured in the pocket. He took passes that were giving some check downs, then forced the ball down the field. His 11th pass of the night was a drop touchdown. So that told me Alabama's going to be fine at the quarterback position. Then offensively, you brought up Najee Harris. He only had, let's say, 98 yards, which for most backs in the country is a pretty good day.
Right.
Then they wide receivers, Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. Let's go on and put it out there. They're going to be in the top 15 next year in the 2021 NFL draft.
No doubt.
They got the best left tackle in the game in Alex Leatherwood. They got the best guard in Devontae, what's the young man, Brown. Then they sent a Landon Dickerson. You should know about him, Bobby, because I know you're still upset because he transferred from Florida State. So the biggest key for me for Alabama last week, I wanted to see how they improved defensively. That was their Achilles heels last year. And really, that was the difference of them not winning the national championship because they had injuries in the middle of the field. Dalen Moses, their star linebacker, got hurt last year. And Terrell Lewis played injured all year long, their second best defensive player. And Trevon Diggs played nicked up last year. But I tell you what, after watching them this past Saturday night, I was very impressed. 8 tackles for loss as a unit, 1.3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. And the biggest key, they held Missouri to 69 yards on 34 attempts. So they're telling me Dylan Moses like a guy that's going to be a top 10 pick last year, coming back at the middle linebacker position. Christian Harris is matured as a true freshman. LeBron Ray looks like he's going to be the next great D lineman that's coming out of Alabama. We all know about your young man out of the state of Florida. His father out of Southern Mississippi and played with the Dolphins, Patrick Surtain. So when I overall look at this, out of all the college football teams I've seen this year, I'm going to say in the top 5, it's no question about it. This University of Alabama Crimson Tide team is going to be hard to beat. I'm going to go on and say it right now here on 100 Yards of Football. They are the team to beat. And even if Mac Jones go down, Bryce Young, the best quarterback in the country last year, the number 1 recruit, came in and looked pretty well in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to say this. You brought up Kellen Mond. He's played a lot of football for Texas A&M. But what I see on Saturday in Tuscaloosa, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time on CBS, is going to be Roll Tide, 42-17. Alabama is going to make a statement week in and week out. So my message to Auburn, to Georgia, to Florida, to Texas A&M starting this Saturday, this is a very good Alabama team. And kudos to that true freshman. It's not a lot of true freshmen that start at the University of Alabama. But William Anderson, Coach Bull Jones proved out of Dutchtown, Georgia. Now, excuse me, out of Henry, Georgia, Dutchtown High School. That young man is a player.
He's special.
And he's going to probably maybe be the best defensive rushing end or linebacker they've had since another man that's down there from your area. I don't know what is it, 305? I don't know, man.
On the 305.
Derek Thomas. So
right.
that being said, I'm saying roll tide 42-17 on Saturday, and they're going to keep rolling, and they're going to be a tough out on the nation level. And I hope Clemson, I haven't seen Clemson play that yet this year, but I saw Alabama on last Saturday night. And I'm going to tell you, I haven't seen no other football team better than Alabama up to this point. Mm-hmm. Final words, Brother Butler.
Well, I predict that Kellen Mond will be solid, but it won't be enough to not get rolled over by the Tide.
My final words on Saturday, CBS, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, down there in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Nick Saban, you know he's upset because what they do at Alabama, it's all about national titles. It's not about the SEC West. It's not about the SEC titles. It's all about winning that chip. And this year, that football team has got a chip on their shoulder. And the only question mark I had was at the quarterback position. Mac Jones was like, he's going to keep that railroad rolling. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm Vincent Turner. Joining me is the legend, the great Florida State All-American, and Atlanta Falcons great Bobby Butler. And I'm going to leave you with this. Be blessed this weekend and enjoy college football.